Hey guys, this is Corriedale, and this is the Corriedale Reviews. Emmerdale. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the video. And let's just jump right into it. So we found out last week that Dan was completely broke because of Amelia. Kerry can't get an advance on her wages. And what do we see? A convenient big bag of money for somebody to steal. Daz nicks it, pretends he won it on a horse, and Dan uses it to pay the rent, to pay Priya the rent. And I find it funny because you're essentially paying someone the rent with their own money. Very funny indeed. Kerry asks for an advance on her wages. Bernice also asks for an advance on Kerry's wages. Both times, Jay and Nicola in the second instance says no. Which means that when the money does go missing, Kerry is the prime suspect. Isn't it great though that as soon as we see a big bag of cash, we just know exactly what's going to happen. And as soon as Daz confesses that it was him that stole the money, the police immediately appear out of nowhere and Daz is arrested. And subsequently, when he works at his job the next day for Brenda decides she doesn't actually want him using the till because now she doesn't trust him. Nicola, decides to try and get Daz stacked, while Bernice just tries to normalise it. Oh, but he was only doing what was right. He's a thief is what he is. And as a result, Brenda doesn't trust Daz, and eventually Daz loses his job. Did anything else happen with that storyline this week? No. Is Daz not broke anymore? Has it been fixed? Were they allowed to keep the money? Well, I don't know. Find out next week, if you're lucky. Anyway, let's talk about Nicola. Because Nicola's very worried about her father, who's still dating the hippy-dippy Misty, who were lovemaking for a record-breaking 4 hours and 37 minutes, which Jimmy timed. But yeah, Misty has been in the show for a while and a very entertaining character, the free spirit. It's always very entertaining to see Rodney and Misty together, and very funny how the rest of Rodney's family just does not like Misty at all, apart from Angel, who told Nicola that when she grows up she wants to be just like Misty, prompting Nicola to respond with a very ominous line, "Stand too close to fire and get burnt." Now to me, that almost sounds a bit like foreshadowing. So what is going to happen there? Nicola is very worried for her father and worried that Misty's going to end up killing him. So she gets Jimmy to have a little chat with Misty to try and get them to separate. But Misty says that she's leaving for a year before Jimmy has a chance to ask her. Leaving for a year to go to Thailand. Oh, well, that's problem solved, without even considering the possibility that maybe Misty would invite Rodney to come to Thailand with her. Which she does. What a plot twist. Didn't see that coming. Actually, I did. So Nicola is desperately trying to break Misty and Rodney up before Rodney has a chance to go to Thailand with her, because she is worried that Misty will kill him eventually because he's very tired. We don't actually know if at any point Rodney is actually happy with Misty. We assume he is, but we see the way he responds to her at one point. He seems very tired and very, oh, well, if you say so, sort of reaction. Personally, I think it's wrong of Nicola to try and break Misty and Rodney up, even if it means that it would kill Rodney. I personally find that there's a very clear difference between living and surviving. And Nicola decides that she wants her dad to survive with her and her family instead of live with Misty. We did have a very funny episode in Friday's episode where Nicola tampers with Misty's tarot cards. And she asks Misty to do a reading about her dad, and Misty draws the Death card, the Hanged Man card, and the Devil card. But it turns out, and Misty realises because her deck is a lot lighter than normal, that Nicola has tampered with it and removed all the positive cards. And Bernice decides to tell Misty that Rodney only has a few months to live. Okay. Which then turns out to be a few months to live normally before he's paralysed. Which prompts Misty to leave Rodney. Which is a shame because I'm hoping it's not the last we see of Misty, because Misty is an absolutely hilarious character in the show. A very funny moment in the show as well when Rodney tells everyone that Misty dumped him. And Jimmy responds with, "Did she say why?" Hopefully Rodney will find out the truth soon. Misty is just a very valuable character to the show. We have another storyline currently going on with Gabby and Liv about GCSE results. Misty put her 2 cents in when she mentioned about Gabby. It's like, oh, I can tell she's a Capricorn. And I believe that if memory serves, Gabby was born on Christmas Day, which would actually make her a Capricorn. So unless Misty already knew Gabby's star sign, that is an incredible gift that she has, and it would make her a very valuable character to the Dales. Anyway, Aaron notices a change in Liv and worries that it might be due to him deciding to become Seb's mother. Not even thinking that, oh, it's GCSE results day today. It turns out that Liv failed all her GCSEs, while her best friend Gabby got very good marks in all of her GCSEs, which obviously makes Liv feel a lot worse. But guess who's there to give Liv the pep talk she needs but Doug. And what a character Doug is. You've got other brains than those academic brains, and it doesn't matter if you pass or fail, except English and maths. You are bright, and I know it. Words to that effect, but it really does cheer Liv up. And I'm sure that Doug is going to be a very good mentor for her. Pete tries to bond with Leo. Leo doesn't really accept Pete yet. Matty decides to third wheel Vic. Let's talk a bit about Matty. It must be easy to pull women being a trans man, because he knows exactly how to pull women, because he used to be a woman himself. Matty, you must have embarrassing photos as you as a kid, asks Abby, his date. Oh, here's a picture of me wearing a dress. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Here's a picture of me as a flower girl at someone's wedding. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Here's a picture of me going to school in a summer dress. Oh, that's so embarrassing. You look just like a girl. Ha 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 ha. Well, actually, I was a girl. That would have been the perfect way to tell Abby that. Of course, that didn't happen. We do get a point where Matty is ready to tell Abby, but then we get the whole, there's something I need to tell you. Oh, hang on, I need to get this cliche, where Matty's about to tell Abby that he used to be a woman when Abby's phone rings and he has to delay it and gets a chance to maybe change his mind. Anyway, Abby is just outside the toilets looking very upset. Vic finds her and assumes that Matty has told her that he used to be a woman, which he hasn't. And that gives us the whole delivering news for the first time, assuming the person's already aware of it cliche, where Vic breaks the news to Abby that Matty is trans. Of course, Abby doesn't understand, and because Matty can pass himself off as a man so well, actually assumes, oh, what, you want to become a woman? It's like, no, I used to be a woman, but now I'm a man. Of course, he sort of confuses things by going on about, oh, well, this is me now. The woman wasn't me and this is me, which I get, but when you're explaining to someone who doesn't get that, it does just confuse them further. But it turns out that Vic does fancy Matty. As I said before, Matty is still technically her brother-in-law. But anyway, Matty does forgive Vic, and Vic decides to stop wearing her wedding ring, and Matty is blissfully unaware that Vic fancies him. Don't just love it when that happens in a show, when a character is just blissfully unaware of being fancied by another character. 5 storylines down, 3 to go. Lydia has a visit to the doctors on a Thursday to get her test results, And because of the extra episode on a Thursday, we always know that if you have results on a Thursday, it's probably not going to be good news. Although thankfully it is. It turns out the mole was malignant, but the cancer hasn't spread. All very good news. And just as she's leaving the doctor's, we get a random woman going, "Oh, Lydia, you live round here. Let's go." Okay. We, the audience, don't immediately know what's happened between Lydia and this character to elicit this reaction. And this is a trope that I like to call undramatic irony. Undramatic irony is a case when the characters know something that the audience don't, which is the opposite of dramatic irony when the audience knows something the characters don't. Dramatic irony is a trope we see all the time in soaps, but undramatic irony is one we very seldom see, but one that I'd like to see more of because I really enjoy how it adds an element of mystery to a character, an element of intrigue to a character, and it makes them relatable like real-life people, because in soaps we know everything that there is to know or we could want to know about certain characters ordinarily. But obviously in real life, even people you know very well, there are certain aspects of them that you don't know. Of course, we do find out later on why Lydia hates this woman. And it is a retcon for the character. For those of you that don't know what a retcon is, it is when the writers decide to change a fact that's already been established about a certain character. We were led to believe earlier that Lydia and Steve lived a happy marriage, but it turns out that this woman actually ended up ruining Lydia's marriage. The revelation prompts Sam to set a date for the wedding, which Lydia refuses to because she doesn't want that woman's influence to influence her wedding to Sam. And because she remembers that her marriage with her husband Steve went downhill as soon as she signed the marriage certificate. Anyway, it was very interesting to see Lydia react in the way she did to this woman, because obviously we've never seen that side to Lydia before. So it is going to be very interesting to see how Lydia reacts to having a nemesis. Now, Leanna's back on the Dales, and I think she might fancy Jacob. I think Leanna is a very interesting character, and I really hope that we see more of Leanna. Maya is obviously very wary of Leanna and actually warns Jacob of what Leanna's capable of. Jacob initially agreeing to go out with Leanna and then changing his mind about her because of Maya prompts Leanna to make Maya pay. And she does by trying to implicate Jacob by getting him to hand out flyers of her saying lying gold digger. Eventually, Jacob tells Maya about the joyriding, and because Maya knows about Leanna, she believes him, and Jacob obviously begs Maya to not say anything to anybody about the joyriding. And once Maya decides to keep Jacob's secret, we see David. He tells Jacob that he's proud of him, which just gives us that whole, "oh, you're so perfect because I don't know about something awful you've done" cliche. Anyway, I really hope we do see more of Leanna. Dr. Kavanagh made an appearance. Now, as I said, I always really liked Dr. Kavanagh. He used to just be the doctor. He used to be a recurring character, but now we see a lot more of Dr. Kavanagh, but he's very unhappy with Maya. And Maya tries to tell Dr. Kavanagh what his daughter's done. But Dr. Kavanagh doesn't believe her, and he's all like, "I know my own daughter." To which Maya replies, "That's the problem, Liam. I think deep down, you do." Is that foreshadowing? What happens next? Find out next week. Anyway, I think that's all the storylines, and it looks like we're about to finish early this week, because I think we've done everything. We've spoken about Dan, we've spoken about Jacob and Leanna, we've spoken about Matty, Lydia, Misty, Liv, and Pete. Yeah, I think that's everything. So I'll see all of you guys next time. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hang on a second. Belle got her A-level results, and she got BCC. Okay, now we're done. Okay, fine. Yeah, Lachlan was in it again this week. Hooray. Vic decides she no longer wants Rebecca's things in her house, so Lachlan has to remove everything that Rebecca owns into his own house. We discover that Rebecca has a friend in Wales, so we might actually be able to track her down. Of course, Lachlan knows that we can't because she's dead, but Belle doesn't know that, and that is what dramatic irony is. And as you can tell, there are examples of it everywhere in Emmerdale, and all the other soaps as well. Lachlan pays a visit to the shack that Rebecca was in, and he finds an etching that says, "Lachlan is a killer." So Lachlan decides he has to scratch it out. So what he does is he decides to scratch out the killer bit. Personally, if I was Lachlan, I would have scratched out my name instead of the "is a killer," because you've got Lachlan is a K-I. What could that mean? Instead of thingy is a killer. You think, who's the killer? Who's the killer? Could be anyone. There are 7 billion people in the world. One of them's a killer. Really? Instead of Lachlan. What is Lachlan? Lachlan is a what? Priya's doing a lot of digging, and I did see a trailer for Emmerdale in September, and it looks like Lachlan's killed somebody, and he might be killing Belle next. If any writers or anyone that's got anything to do with the production of Emmerdale's listen to this, I've got a message for you. Stop killing characters! I don't think Priya's got long to live, and I think when Priya does eventually get killed by Lachlan, because that's just where that's going, I think Belle's next. But that is speculation. Anyway, I didn't realise that the shack that Rebecca was being kept in was at Home Farm. Knowing that it was in Home Farm answers a few questions, but also raises a couple more. For instance, it answers the whole, where did Lachlan find a shack that no one else had access to? Oh, because it was in land that he used to own. But it raises the question, when Rebecca escaped, she got lost. But if she used to live at Home Farm, she should have known her way out. Anyway, we find out the shack was in Home Farm, and Priya decides to hire the world's worst security. How can Lachlan keep visiting the shack when there's a dog patrol and not once get detected? How is that possible? Surely the point of a dog patrol is to stop intruders, but yet Lachlan again and again was able to keep visiting the shack without getting detected by any of the dogs. Anyway, for the time being, Priya is Joe's Graham. And Joe tells her to remove all security. So what does Priya do? She rings them up and says, "Hi, it's Priya. No more security, please." And that's it. The security's gone. There's no clarification. There's no let's just confirm you're Priya. Because let's face it, she could have been anyone ringing up, just saying, "Oh, hi, I'm Priya. Can I have no more security, please?" I mean, you can't just call off security that easily, because what's the point of having security if someone can just ring them up and dismiss them? But to be honest, that is just a nitpick, so we'll just disregard that. Anyway, I'm glad that Priya didn't die this week, because I was expecting Lachlan to murder her in the shack and then burn it. Thankfully, that did not happen. It did look like Priya was going to die, and we had the whole suspicious person confides in person who doesn't believe them and then dies cliche. That didn't happen yet. I imagine that maybe we will get a truer example of that cliche when Lachlan does kill Priya, because I just imagine that it is inevitable that Lachlan will kill Priya. I'm hoping it doesn't. Yeah, it looks like Lachlan's going to kill off another character and get away with it again. Hey, maybe I should start killing people. If Lachlan can get away with it, maybe I can get away with it too. It's so easy to kill people and not get caught. I want to be just like Lachlan. Just to clarify, I have no intention of killing any people and do not condone Lachlan's actions in any shape, way or form. Priya doesn't die. Lachlan spills petrol all over the shack and decides to burn it whilst there is no one inside. Zach is walking Monty at the same time, and the 7:30 cliffhanger is the thought of Zach being in the shack and burning to death. And it wouldn't be the first time that viewers were led to believe that Zach was about to burn to his death. Back at the start of 2017, we were led to believe that Zach was going to burn to death in a caravan. And now, a year and a half later, we were led to believe that he was going to burn to death in a shack. But both times, he's come out absolutely fine. Priya saw Lachlan before he burnt the shack, who told her he was having a run. But he decided, instead of telling Belle that story, that he was actually at the doctor's. But Belle doesn't believe that he's up to anything, unlike Priya, who's very suspicious. The police, however, are suspicious that Priya might have burned the shack to claim on insurance, because Priya called off the world's worst security just before the shack burnt. The police have actually managed to find some blood, so maybe they're getting very close to catching Lachlan, finally. Maybe it turns out that you can't get away with murdering loads of people. You can only get away with murdering one or two. But anyway, Priya sends the police Lachlan's way. I have to say that I was extremely disappointed that D.S. Benton was not working on the case. Where was D.S. Benton? I want to see more D.S. Benton. If D.S. Benton was on the case, Lachlan would be in jail by now, easily in jail. D.S. Benton would have known exactly what had happened. He would have worked it out because he knows. He just knows. Maybe that's why the writers decided they couldn't bring D.S. Benton in, because they knew that if they did get D.S. Benton on the case, that it would be very unbelievable to assume that D.S. Benton couldn't put two and two together and work out that Lachlan is responsible for the shack burning and work out that he's murdered a load of people. I suppose I can understand that writer, because that would be a massive plot hole that D.S. Benton could not figure out what Lachlan was up to. But it is a shame, because when I see detectives, I expect to see D.S. Benton. Anyway, I am interested to see what is going to happen next with Lachlan and Priya. We had some very good dialogue between Lachlan and Priya at the end of Friday's episode. Lachlan said to Priya that the text used to say Lachlan is a king, and king starts with K and I, the same letters as killer. Apparently, he wrote it himself. Priya assumes it used to say Lachlan is a killer, which, spoiler alert, it did. And this prompts Lachlan to give a very chilling line. You thought it said Lachlan is a killer? Let's hope you were wrong, eh? Very chilling line and very well written. And I'm very much looking forward to next week. Now, if you like the review, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. You know how to comment. You just put what you thought. Did I miss anything? I hope I didn't. Did you disagree with anything I said? I hope you did. Let me know. Did you agree with everything I said? Let me know. Comments, they're there for a reason. Like, comment and subscribe. It's the only way to not miss the Corriedale reviews. We're currently at 12 million subs, but come on guys, we can do a lot better. Bloomin' Jake Paul has more subscribers than us. That says it all. Anyway, if I could, I'd like to take this opportunity to announce that I've got a new clothing line come out. We only make 500 shirts and they each cost £100 a shirt, so get buying now while stocks last.